Oi, oi! Game's over. Tottenham 1, Burnley 0, and the boys are on their way home. Not the best of games, not the best of performances, but we take the 3 points, yeah? We take the 3 points, we're happy, keeps the pressure on the Gooners. Fuck them, let's move on. What do you think? George, wake up, stop playing with your phone, tell us what you think of the game today.
Boring as hell, mate.
Boring?
Boring game. Burnley just sat there and just not doing much at all, really. And then we got a penalty, controversial one, but who cares? 3 points, mate. That's what matters.
Are you saying it's controversial? Do you think it's controversial? Have you looked at it yourself?
By the letter of the law, it's handball, but it shouldn't really be handball. But then again, we've had them go against us before, so who cares?
But it was handball.
It was handball.
His arms were above. His arms were above his head, wasn't it? So
yeah, but it's one of them. It's bouncing around in the box. Doesn't mean to handball, but it doesn't. So should it be? I mean, by the letter of the law, yes, but it's not really handball.
It took a long time.
But it is handball.
Yeah, it took a long time to make a decision, didn't it?
Yeah,
so it makes you wonder if it's like.
Well, do you remember the Andy Carroll one when he headed it down onto Dyer's shoulder last year? Same sort of thing. It's the arm.
But they did get the referee to actually go and have a look at him himself. And it did take a long time, so there was a debate about it, right?
Yeah, but he didn't take long on making the decision, did he?
Once you've seen it.
Once you've seen it.
Have a look at it. This is the. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it should be nice and simple.
You know it's going to be a penalty if the referee is asked to go and look at it.
Apart from that, it was a bit of a flat game, really.
Yeah, but there was a couple of good performances in there, wasn't it, from some of Spurs players?
Go on then.
Yeah.
Who you calling
out? We were actually looking at Emerson. Thought he was all right. Luis, I thought he did well. Yeah, he
got beat by a shot in the post.
Yeah, but he probably had it covered anyway.
What, the Ashley Barnes one?
Yeah.
No, he's nowhere near that. He's nowhere near the Ashley Barnes one.
That was a shame. But no, there was a couple of players in there.
Sessegnon.
Dyer is good. Sessegnon's just getting better and better, isn't he?
Yeah.
To be fair, I did think.
Davis, though.
I did think. To be fair, I did think Dyer had a good game.
Yeah.
He seems like he's marshalling it now. He seems to be like the main man in defence.
Yeah.
I don't know if you think that or not.
I do, because what was happening like 2 seasons ago or a season ago? He had Vertonghen and a Bilderveld. Like who?
A Biederveld?
A Wiedersehen.
It might have been a Wiedersehen pen.
He's a Geordie.
He had those two to rely on, you know. And now he's like the main man. He's been given that responsibility, so he's got to get stuck in and earn his money, hasn't he?
I tell you what, did you notice actually when Roden came on, he started marshalling straight away, didn't he? You know, he was sort of like
on the left, didn't he?
He's got a lot of stick whenever he comes. I don't know.
I don't think there's a bad player in there.
He's getting stick. Why is he getting stick? I rate Roden. I think he's a decent defender.
Yeah. It's just that he's not a lot better than anything else that we've got. And it might be that if he...
To be fair, give him his due as well to me. Sanchez was good. Again, 2 games he's come in for now. He's played well both games.
Yeah.
I'm a bit worried. I'm just thinking about Emerson. I felt like he was kind of all over the pitch today. It's almost like his confidence has gone through the roof.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you think that, but for me, it seemed like he was like, I'm the man.
He was up for the game, wasn't he?
He was all over the place today. He was like all over the pitch.
No, he was. He's been more confident with his touch. His passing was better as well today. So.
And he had a shot as well. He kept it down. I mean, it was probably at the crossbar, but hope it just tipped over.
I'm disappointed for Sonny really, because I'd have liked to have seen him get a couple today. Because today was the sort of game that you would expect him to get a couple.
Yeah, but there was one that was a reflex save for the goalkeeper, wasn't there? You know, and again, another day that would have gone in. He would have put it to the side of him a little bit more, you know. But it just wasn't to be. But he's quite humble, isn't he? And he's there and he's going, "Oh, it's more about the team," and he can't really mean it. But he's such a nice guy.
Yeah, it's a really difficult one today, isn't it? Because he's It is a really flat game. I don't think there was too much in it. There's not too much to call out. There's no real controversy apart from the penalty, which obviously from our point of view we're going to be happy with because it goes in our favour. So, but from a Burnley's perspective, they're going to be disappointed with that. I felt that they did try today. They did kind of come out a little bit, but they really didn't attack us to the extent that was going to give us the opportunity to kick them on the counter. No?
No, I tend to agree with you there. I think they didn't look. They were quite toothless. I was expecting more work from Weghorst when he came on, actually, because he's more of an aerial presence, isn't he? Yeah.
You sort of limited their aerial chances, though.
Yeah.
I think that was a scene all game. They couldn't really play the ball into corner. They've done it once.
He's not a bad player, is he? Cornet.
He had one chance to score, and he fucked it. But no, they didn't really do it.
I don't know. It didn't seem like that they were a team playing for their survival, did they?
I think they were a team trying to play a careful game, weren't they?
But they can't really afford it, can they? They can't really afford to do that. They need to get the points.
They needed 3 points really today.
Yeah, they need to rack them up.
Not even one. They needed 3.
I think in themselves, they're probably the reason they were so careful is because they've probably been experienced of coming to a place like Tottenham, getting rolled over if they can't play more expansive with it. But you saw it in the second half. They did try and play a little bit more freely, didn't they? But they sort of shut up shots.
But it didn't really open it up for us, so we didn't really take anything from that.
No, because they didn't come out that much either, did they? So there was not that many spaces in behind or anything like that. I mean, if you look today, they played so deep, there was no room for Moura or anywhere else to actually go to, was there? Yeah, he really looked quite ineffective today.
I thought, to be honest with you, I thought he was.
Into a low block, and he does it with the top.
Yeah, I thought he was poor. He really didn't bring much to the game at all, did
He
he?
had his moments where he sort of managed to break through the lines a little bit and spread the play quite quickly. He had a couple of them, but there weren't a lot of it, and it was fairly poor what he did do. So I'm going to dig him out because I don't think he played as bad as what he has done this season.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think he needs digging out like he was, a shit performance. But he just wasn't working for him. He just didn't really do anything.
It wasn't something that sort of...
There was no space for him to run into about half of the time, was there? He just seemed to be dropping deeper and deeper all the time.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I thought our back line seemed to be our best players today. They seem to control it really well, spread the play.
But if you actually look at like Emerson and what have you, there were times when Emerson was actually so far up, and actually it should have been Moura that would have been further up like that, and like.
Yeah, you wanted Moura.
Do you think he was told to play like that?
What, to sit back?
To sit.
Yeah. Well, no, for Emerson to.
No, but I think that's what happens though when you go up against a low block like Burnley does. Like all your players sort of press up against them to the point where it even puts some people out of position, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like Emerson's tighten up right up against the fullback, and then there's no space for Moura, so he comes back on the edge of the D.
Yeah.
Like that. That's what you see.
I thought the atmosphere was better today, considering I know it's never going to be a North London derby for sure, right?
It's 12 o'clock kick-off as well.
12 o'clock kick-off. Not many opportunities to have a beer before the game and so on.
Well, you were drinking in the car. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know, but that's just because me and George are legends. But to be fair, I thought the atmosphere was pretty good, considering we've been to a few games this season, right, where the atmosphere's been shit.
Yeah.
What about when Conte come on? When he sort of started waving his arms, and everyone
he's basically to get a bit flat and tense, doesn't he? So
he
was trying to wind it up a
bit.
He got a good rendition of Antonio, did he? To be fair,
that's what he's looking for, right? That's what he cares about.
Yeah, he wants a bit of a love me, doesn't he?
Yeah, well,
everyone wants a bit of love. Everyone wants a bit of love.
But if he was looking for a way out, he wouldn't have been doing that. He wouldn't have cared.
No.
I don't believe that he's actually looking for a way out at all.
No, I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all. I think the opportunity to be this close still to be in top 4 is a real,
Considering where we went to.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think if we'd have talked about top 4 at the beginning of the season, I think most of us would have gone, forget it. So to still be in it with a game to go, bearing in mind we've been behind and everything else, and I think it's great testament to the work and the effort that he's put in.
Yeah.
It's disappointing, really, that we've left it this far, because the reality is, if we'd have beaten teams like Southampton and Brighton and Brentford and so on, we'd have been miles ahead. I mean, if to be fair, like George said earlier on today, if Arsenal get top 4, and then technically they deserve it, right? Because they've got the performances. But what a mockery that is of top 4, don't you think? I mean, even us is a little bit of a shambles, I think.
Context, I mean,
when you look at the top 4 performances,
it's like Leicester winning the Premier League, isn't it? You know, I don't know it was a miracle, but to have them players winning the Premier League over your quality players that you should be performing in and out.
That was a weakness of Pochettino that caused that.
Yeah, we lost that. There was for me again. It was a little bit like everyone talks about the Battle of the Bridge and how great that was, kicking a few Chelsea players and all the rest of it. But that was because we lost our heads.
Yeah.
If we'd have kept our heads, we'd have been further ahead than that. And that is no different from the situation with Arsenal the other
North
day.
London derby, totally exactly the same.
Losing their head and their inexperience and stuff. So I think it's the same. It's the same scenario. And I think if we played that game again today, I don't think we'd be in the same position. I think we'd be a little bit more cute about what we need to do. Yeah, absolutely. So but
I'd like to stop playing Chelsea this season if we can help it.
yeah, it'd be good. It'd be great to have a season without playing them, wouldn't it? I mean, 5 times we've played them this season. We've lost every game.
Yeah, but having said that, we're now in 4th spot. Rather than looking over our shoulders worrying about Arsenal, why not keep on trying to hunt down Chelsea on 3rd? They've got to win 2. They've got to get 2 points in 2 games, haven't they?
Yeah, but
they've got a tough game in midweek against Leicester, haven't they? It's never easy. And then it takes it into the last day, but I think they've got a very valuable game.
They scored 5.
Watford, is it
they
something
scored
like
5 today.
They're done, aren't they?
who scored 5 today?
Leicester.
Did they?
That's 5-1-5-1. Vardy got 2. They played for 24 months.
Don't get me wrong, it would be absolutely hilarious if Chelsea dropped down the top 4. It won't happen.
That would be funny. That would be funny, wouldn't it?
They could lose to Leicester midweek, but I think their last game is Watford. I think it's Watford. And
you imagine the scenario: they lose to Leicester, right, and then they're winning, and then they throw away 2 goals in the last 2 minutes of the game to get to a draw, and that's 1 point out of 6, and we've just overtaken them in the table.
That's like a fairy tale, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
You've just sampled the final day mayhem at Carrow Road where we lose like 6-0.
That'd be trying to find rocket or shit.
Yeah. Watford will be at 4-0 up and against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Arsenal will be like bottling it at the Emirates. They will be fucking losing 6 or 7 to fucking Norwich and Carrow Road. That's what's going to happen.
That's what's going to happen, isn't it? We win this game today. Arsenal are going to lose tomorrow. Right? They lose tomorrow against Newcastle, and then it's all on the last game. We go to Norwich, and then Pookie turns in a fucking Lionel Messi fucking performance. Just smashes us.
Pookie scored today, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah.
Because
he's the only one that's scored goals, hasn't he?
Yeah, but he loves to score against us, doesn't he? It's like, he's just sod's law in it. They got nothing to play for. They're down. They can play what they like, do what they like.
We're not the best at Carrow Road.
Exactly. I must admit, I do wish that when I was a kid growing up, I'd got into golf rather than football. Because this is the pain of our life, isn't it? Yeah. We talk about it 24/7. We think about it 24/7. We're going to feel that pain, whatever. And as a Tottenham fan, we're never going to feel confident, are we? Even though we're ahead now, right? With the win today, that puts us ahead.
Yeah, that's the mindset you got to go in. So tomorrow you can sit there and relax until Arsenal score.
Yeah.
If they score, hopefully they don't.
Well, I could.
All you got to do is win your games and then see what you want.
All you can do is, you're exactly right. All you can do is keep winning your games. If you win your games, that's as much as you can do.
And let's be honest, I think since the last loss we had against Brighton, we've drawn to Brentford, and you've drawn to Liverpool. You've won the rest, assuming you beat Norwich on the last day. So that's not a bad return on the end of the season, is it really?
When you look back on it, you're going to be there and say, well, drawing against Brentford, actually, it's not a bad result. They're not a bad team.
No, I don't think that is a bad result.
No,
because there's better. There's
same with Brighton.
Teams as good as us and better than us that have had a better.
If you look at the results of the company, they're fair. They're quite solid.
Yeah.
I mean, we're probably the third or fourth best team since it came in on average in the league.
I think it's only Man City and Liverpool that are better.
This year as well. Of the year.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think we can start getting the fear factor back again, where other teams will start respecting us a bit more. They're not going to see us as a soft touch anymore, are they? Depends on what happens in the summer. That will have a lot of bearings on it. Yeah, but I think he's got to spend money.
You look at the transfer windows.
Yeah, but you've got to look at who else is spending money.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not always about who spends money. Because everyone assumes that Man United are going to win the league this year because they've got Jadon Sancho, Varane, and these other players. Ronaldo. They are. They're 7. So it's not about the money. It's about what you put into the squad that you've got.
The one thing you'll actually see at the end of the season, how many players are up for free transfers? There's shed loads.
Yeah, there's loads of that, isn't there?
Really is loads.
Good deals.
And like, we actually haven't got any of that out of contract, have we? Or any players that leave for us there'll be a value.
Yeah,
We haven't got any out of contract at all.
not of the big players for sure. Not of the big players. So technically we know that we're going in with the same level of players, of our top players that we had when we started with. So to a certain extent we're in a decent position. I think it's a case of what do we do from here. Do we go out and splash the cash to make sure that we buy proven players and stuff? But as George says, you don't just want to go out and buy just the top quality players just because they're top quality players.
Yeah.
If you look at Paris Saint-Germain and all the names they've got there, and they still can't win the Champions League. So you have to kind of be mindful that the players that you buy have got to be the right players in the right position that's going to improve your
And
squad.
they've got to fit in as well. That's the thing, isn't it?
Exactly.
And understand how difficult the Premiership is.
And a lot of those
It's
things.
not the easiest game in the league in the world, is it?
A lot of those things are around how you are as a person as well, because you could be a top player in turning top performances. But
It's
if
your
you're a
mindset.
shit personality who doesn't fit in with the ethos of your team and the people around you, if people can't get on with you, then it doesn't matter how good you are. I mean, I know there are exceptions. If you look at Teddy Sheringham and Andy Cole, they hated each other, they didn't get on, and blah blah blah. But they were able to play together. That's a rarity. You don't get that all the time. So you want people that can fit in with the team and fit in with your ethos of how you work. To want them to actually deliver and be of quality as well. So it's a strange one, but a big season coming forward, and I guess we'll see how we are. For me, I think this season has delivered more than I expected at the start, especially under Nuno. When we was given Nuno, that was a total anti-climax. I know he said he was going to make us proud, he didn't. So I guess even if we finish fifth, that's an improvement on where we were last season.
Yeah.
And it's probably as much as we could have expected, no?
If you actually look at it's the expectation for next season now, isn't it? You've just got to look there, and I do think we're probably better placed for next season now. Get a good season, pre-season training under our belts as well. We'll be stronger again. Then we'll find out how good Antonio really is.
Well, it's more about the identity of his play, and have a full season of him doing what he wants to do and get solid results from the offset rather than actually, having we won our first round and we lost our next one. We haven't really gone on that sort of spree under the company, have we? Touch wood.
I mean, that's why I wouldn't be at all surprised if they're not going back hunting in the Italian leagues again for players again to fit into the family culture for next year. You know, I really wouldn't be surprised at that at all.
I think the calibre of player that you bring, I think, is dependent on where you finish in the league. I mean, I know he says it's not all about the money you spend. It's all about the player you can attract to bring into the team. Yeah. And if you can attract a high quality player that actually wants to play for you, I mean, that's the golden ticket.
Yeah, but if you look at what Bentancur and Kulusevski have delivered to the team this season since January, it's that's a high calibre of player that's come in there.
Straight in and then just,
they made a difference, and that's the sort of players that you actually need. Somebody can slot straight into the first team.
Yeah, it's
that makes it better.
For me, you've got to bring in players that are going to strengthen your squad.
Yeah,
and you want players that are going to improve upon what you've currently got and be in your starting 11. I mean, Bentancur and Kulusevski coming in, they've gone straight into the team and they are now regular starters, right?
And respected regular starters.
And that's just not something that we've done before. And you got to believe, they're young guys, and they were not playing for Juventus. So to actually come in and be starters straight away is a big move.
Yeah.
And it just shows you, if they weren't regular starters for Juventus, and yet they can come into our team and
but they
improve
can be
it,
fit, but not match fit, can't they, with Juventus?
Yeah, but I think it's actually all about the psychology and the personality that's coming in as well. That they've been welcomed into the group from Spurs, haven't they? They look as though they're part of the team.
I think that's a key thing, though. One of the things I've noticed over the last sort of few games is there does seem to be very much a team ethos and a team atmosphere amongst the players that wasn't necessarily there before.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really important that players feel like they are part of it. And that's why it's difficult when you've got players like Moura maybe and Bergwijn who maybe don't feel that they are
loved anymore, do they?
Yeah, they don't feel the love. They don't feel fully committed, and that the rest of the team really support them. And I think that can make a difference. But to be fair to Sanchez, doesn't seem to have caused him a problem over the last couple of games. He's come in and done fairly well. He hasn't really put a foot wrong, has he?
No,
to be fair.
No.
So
if you come in, as long as you do your job, keep your nose clean, and that's it. That's what at the end of the day, that's what you get paid for, isn't it? Don't do anything stupid. But Højbjerg, he did something real bad today.
Well, he
put that ball straight to bloody Nagy. 5 yards away, and he just passes square.
Yeah, but I think that's a mistake. That's something that he does quite often, actually.
Yeah, he does.
There's part of his game that's really good, and there's parts of it that are really, really sloppy. The concentration at 100%, and he probably is at it at about 92. So there's a mistake in him.
Yeah.
Well, the top players don't make a mistake like that, do they? Really?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one.
If you look at Højbjerg today, in the last 10 minutes, he was trying to get everybody out to sort of like to press, and he was sort of like pressing on his own half the time, and he was just a bit like a headless chicken. Well, the only problem with that is he's doing that so much that he's out of position all the time. Then it's not ideal.
But then he was running around at the front, wasn't he? He was trying to get people, the strikers and midfielders, to push up, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Good him running around like a headless chicken, but the spaces that he's left free, somebody needs to fill them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because he could be chasing the ball from left to right and end up making a defender playing it to the left, and that's where he's just come from.
Yeah.
So somebody needs to push up on there, or whoever it is.
Yeah, I mean, if he's going to do that, and he's going to try and lead the line and tell people where they need to be, then he needs to make sure that he's got some cover from behind him, right? Because if he doesn't, he's going to end up opening us up and leaving us in a real problem. So,
well, I think he's going to be one of the players that's going to need to be improved upon, isn't he? He's a good player, but really for the top, you need something a little bit better than that. Yeah.
I think it's interesting though, because every manager who's come in has been really keen on him. So I think, in terms of his leadership principles and his leadership behaviour, I think the managers see it and they admire it and they want that.
Yeah.
But like you say, is he going to be strong enough and disciplined enough and have enough vision to be able to lead that and do what they want? I think he makes all the right noises, but he doesn't necessarily fulfill all the points that they're looking for from him. He's probably the best they've got.
Yeah, he's a 7 out of 10 player, isn't he?
Yeah, he's clearly a passionate. He's clearly a player who plays with passion and interest and keenness. But he's one that will make that mistake, and then that leaves you in a real difficult position, and that's not what we want, because we are a weak-minded club. You know, it's something that we've got to drum out of the players. It's something we've got to turn around, because we've always had that soft underbelly, and I think that's the key thing.
I've got a soft underbelly.
Have you? Have you? Yeah, I mean, I can see your belly. I don't know about it being soft under, but there you go.
But
Oh well, I think we're running out of rubbish to talk about, aren't we?
Yeah, you need my belly. My belly's had enough.
George has already gone to sleep. George has already gone to sleep.
Yeah, I've said my piece.
He's got his long socks on. I mean, you know.
White schoolboy socks.
Yeah, he's a bit of a fashion victim, really, to be honest with you. He's all in the same colour.
An icon, mate.
He's all in the same colour with his Lionel Scott. He is a bit of a fashion man. He's got quite hairy legs, is George, which is quite surprising.
We really are running out of content.
We're running out of content if we're talking about George's hairy legs. So, oh well, we'll leave it there. Up the Spurs.
Go on, you Spurs.